Hello, my name's Oriana Bretschker. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Aquacycl, and welcome to Wastewater Wednesday. So today we're going to talk about return on investment, that ROI that we all know and love. First of all, we want to talk about what ROI means to your business when it comes to wastewater. You don't always think about wastewater returning anything to your investment, but in fact it can. And most of our clients at Aquacycl, actually all of them, have realized a 24-month ROI or less, and some of our clients have an ROI of 12 months or less. And today we're going to talk about how do you achieve that. Whether you're an existing producer or you're building a greenfield facility, wastewater is something that you're going to have to manage, whether sending to the city, hauling away, or investing in an on-site treatment system, which is your most viable option to bring you a return on investment. So all the different costs associated with on-site treatment have to be budgeted in, of course, right? So there's the capital cost, there's the operating cost, and within that operating cost, you've got energy, you've got chemicals, you've got sludge management, and you've got your personnel all involved in making sure that this system is going to do what you need it to and return on that investment. Your choice in what you put on site makes a big difference, especially in the operating cost side of things. When you think about the investment and a return on investment, it's important to select a technology that can handle your variability, but also if you're working with a company that could be your operator. In Aquacycl's case, we are your built-in team, right? So you don't have to take resources from your production facility or from your utility management to deal with wastewater. We're the built-in team. We make sure everything works and we work to a performance guarantee, also set with specific key performance indicators. That's all under contract. Now, the next thing is your energy budget. So your operating costs. If you're doing a biological treatment, you can have an aerobic or an anaerobic approach. Aerobic approaches for industrial settings can come with a very high energy price tag because it takes a whole lot of air to push into water to keep the biology happy for high concentrations of organics. So if you work with a company like Aquacycl that does an industrial pre-treatment first, and we take out a majority of that pollution before it has to go into an aeration or polishing system, that keeps your energy costs almost 90% lower than if you just did aeration alone. Next is chemicals. Chemical addition can be significantly high. So if you're working in an aerobic system, biology is working well, but that means that that biology is producing more and more and more biology that you have to manage as activated sludge or wasted sludge. In order to not haul away a bunch of water, you want to de-wet that sludge, which means almost always you're going to be using a DAF, a dissolved air flotation mechanism. You got to add chemicals to that DAF, so you flocculate and coagulate all of those sludge flocks and all of that biology out of your system. Then you can de-wet, and you just have to haul the physical solid waste. Those are a lot of steps. And so if you can work with a technology like Aquacycl, which does not generate much sludge, you can minimize not only your chemical cost, but also the amount of equipment that you have to have on site consistently running to make sure that you're dewatering all of the sludge from your water. So we talked a lot about OpEx. Now, what about CapEx? So that's your big investment into infrastructure. That's what you own. It's on your balance sheet, right? And so when we think about, okay, what system do you install and what that investment is going to look like, a system like Aquacycl, especially if you're generating very high organic waste, such that you would be considering an anaerobic digestion process. If you look at Aquacycl's cost, we're roughly 30% less than your typical anaerobic digestion system. Plus, we don't make any methane, so you don't have the additional permitting cost of having to deal with a hazardous and explosive gas. So simpler to permit, smaller physical footprint, and a lower CapEx relative to anaerobic digestion. If you're looking at aerobic as your primary treatment option, well, will probably be a little bit higher. But as I mentioned, you do have the OpEx challenges associated with just aerobic treatment in that your energy cost, your chemical cost, and your sludge cost will be quite high. So in the long term, a little bit more CapEx actually wins you a lot in the OpEx. With Aquacycl, you can minimize your sludge production, also an 80 to 90% reduction. That leads to an 80 to 90% reduction in chemical, and already you're 90% less in your energy usage with a system like Aquacycl. And we run it for you, so you don't have to take your resources away from your revenue generating business. So as you're thinking about your return on investment and where you want to put your money for your asset, make sure that you're also taking into account all of these long-term costs, which will add up in operations over the course of your operations. To find out more, go to aquacycl.com.